are a lot of developers out there who are not making games for the sake of entertainment. They are using games as a vessel for propaganda, and unfortunately, we typically see that with sequels and continuations of beloved and established series. And Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 recently came out, and it is doing completely awful. And of course, there are people out there that are part of the modern audience saying this is the direction that all games should go in. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, we know that the modern audience is comprised of maybe a couple hundred people, if I'm being generous, because the other individuals that could be lumped into this group do not play video games, they do not care about entertainment, they simply care about certain industries they view as being male-dominated being ruined, and that's why they're so hyper-fixated on the video game industry. They think that, oh my gosh, men still rule this industry, and they need to make way for the diverse individuals, and we've definitely seen a lot of companies buy in to this BS, and their companies are being completely ruined. I do believe that any person that is good at a job deserves to get a job, but these people are not good at their job. These people are not true video game developers or fans. They are simply diversity hires. A company has a box that they need to tick off on a checklist, and then they pick individuals that are maybe not as interested in a series instead of hiring maybe a fan who has loved something their whole life and knows what a next game should be about or what the next additional character should be to complement maybe the main character. And unfortunately, we are seeing a few people on social media actually say that this game is good. And as I always say, you can like whatever game you want, but these are the types of voices that companies are going to continue to listen to, even though these people don't know what made maybe a first game in a series so special. But Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 isn't doing very good right now. It is getting raked across the coals by most people. The player counts have already tanked in just a few days after release, and the scores are abysmal. But hey, at least they made a game for the modern audience member like this. I saw this when I was looking at Bloodlines 2 discussions, and I've never heard of this person in my life. They're a small account. They have me blocked, so I guess what I'm doing is good. They said Bloodlines 2 is a good game because every conversation involving this awkward loser lesbian vampire gives you multiple options to flirt with her. I'm sorry. I don't think that this is what makes games good. I don't think that this is what the majority of gamers want. I don't think that this is what makes your game marketable. Having an awkward loser lesbian vampire. This is a major problem with Bloodlines 2 is it's like the Saints Row reboot. It is cringy, zoomer, maybe even millennial dialogue, and as a Gen Z individual myself, I do think that there are a lot of Gen Z individuals that are actually pretty based, but those are not the people that these companies are hiring. They decided to hire activists because, again, they check boxes off on a checklist so they can screech to the world, oh my gosh, our company is diverse. We're doing everything right now. I know Bloodlines 2 has gone through development hell. It's been in development for 20 years at this point. It's gone through multiple iterations, but at the same time, we're still talking about people that are writing that should be able to come up with a cohesive story. It might not be the best visually or aesthetically. It might not have the best technical elements to it that actually make it a game, but things like the writing, right? That doesn't rely on a budget. That doesn't really rely on a time constraint, because if you're a good writer, you can write something really solid in a couple of years, and unfortunately, that did not happen with this game. Here's a good description of the problems that the game has, and it's being called Bloodlines 2 Veilguard 2.0. The lead is written as a butch lesbian. 4 out of the 5 key NPCs are strong female characters. You have a sidekick who is slightly better written, but he never shuts up 5 minutes in, and you want him staked. The writing is unbearable. NPCs do not stop lore dumping because the devs assume the modern audience has never heard of Bloodlines. Like, we are just talking about problems after problems after problems. And it's honestly so sad to see because you had so much at your disposal. You had so many cool elements, but they decided to throw them all away in order to modernize this. And this is why the player counts are abysmal. This is why you have these different scores, whether they're on Metacritic or Steam, being terrible. I mean, we are talking about a pile of problems here. But hey, guys, at least they made a game for the modern audience. It'll turn out well for them, surely, guys. Right now, in game, on a Sunday after release, it is sitting at 9,886. The 24-hour peak is 11K, but we're talking about the all-time peak 5 days ago only being 27,020, and look at the chart. I mean, it has not gotten even close to its release day numbers, and I think that this is a combination of people refunding, people generally being upset with it and deciding, you know what, I'm just not going to play it, people simply getting bored of it because there's no way that they had already completed it, 24 hours after release, and it hasn't even gone back over 20K. If we take a peek over on Metacritic, even the critics had given it a 64, which I think is very generous, but even they were saying it's got a lot of problems, though the user score is sitting at generally unfavorable at a 4.3, and I've actually noticed quite a few of the positive reviews are just 10s, people trying to reverse review bomb it to keep the score up. So really, I would say that this game, if that wasn't happening, would score closer to a 3.7 or a 3.8, judging by how they come up with these scores. Though, if we take a peek at the discussions tab over on Steam, we're not seeing them silence people, which is good. But also, if you actually start taking a look at what people are saying, it's not good. Skip the Fabian sections. Play Vampire instead. Romance is a bust. Woke. There's somebody sitting here saying, I'm a hard right-winger, and I don't even think this game is woke. Let's call it what it is. Absolute trash. It's generic-ass point A to B game. It reminds me of The Darkness 2. There's people saying, the woke is usually part of the absolute trash, though, unless you think Failguard was any good or badly designed, badly executed, and worstly played. Sequel trilogy of Star Wars. There's people saying things like, this is absolutely terrible. The side missions are a disgrace. There's technical issues with things like the controllers. Is there really no walk button? I'm getting really annoyed with the quests. I mean, it's just not positive here. There's tons of people having tons of issues, and sure, woke does come into the discussion because if you consider strong, independent female leads who are Mary Sue's and they're instantly powerful and they've got no flaws, that is part of the woke discussion and woke criticism. Having, intense LGBTQ themes where they constantly throw sexuality in your face and characters really are just walking billboards for certain sexualities instead of it being a piece of the puzzle of who the character is. You do, of course, just have a lot of problems with this game in general. Aside from that, though, lots of people saying that there's a lack of content. The content that's there really isn't good. There's tons of issues, and it's just so sad to see this series now in such disrepair because I do not see a way that they could ever come out with a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 3 and they could continue this game. Nobody would even want it. I mean, this basically is the Saints Row reboot of 2025, which is so sad to say because, again, I think that it had so much potential and they had made so many promises over the years. And when you're somebody who has been waiting for this game to come out for almost 20 years at this point, yeah, it's just not acceptable that it released in this state. It's so sad that they had such a massive level of disrespect for fans. And again, keep in mind that they were going to try to sell you $30 day one DLC. They were going to paywall clans on launch day. That's how confident they were in this game. They really thought that people would be lining up to buy it, lining up to play it, and that they would shut up and consume this content. They would love it so much that they would swipe their credit card for an additional $30 DLC, which is wild. And if we hadn't spoken up and we hadn't fought back against that, yeah, that's what they were planning to do, which is just so horrific that they had so much confidence, and this is the product that they put out. Now, I definitely think we are not going to be getting another game in this series. I think that it's dead, it's done, and I don't see a way that they would ever put any more money towards another game. So it is what it is, and it's not good. It is sad to see this happen. The scores be so low, the player counts be so low, the level of quality with this game be so low. But hey guys, at least they captured the attention of the modern audience who really only cares about awkward loser lesbians instead of this game actually being a pile of trash, and they're accepting SLOP because hey, at least there's diversity. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this and found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.